Hey guys, Anthony Michael with Dean and Tony's Saw Shop here. Today I'm working on the sticky recoil on the 245 that I just got in the mail yesterday. I posted a video of it after I rebuilt the carburetor and cleaned it out. You know, cleaned out the fuel tank, changed the lines, stuff like that. We got it running. Only thing left on it before we restore it and all is to clean out the recoil. So as you can see down in there, spring, there's a lot of gunk in here. You see there's a lot of dirt caked up in there. Spring is still intact. This saw is pretty clean, you know, compared to a lot of them, you know, how they look when you get them. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was already in this saw, but I don't really see any signs of it, to be honest with you. We got the moon key out. Quick little tip too, when you guys are, you know, if you're replacing your pull rope, you know, anytime you have to take the flywheel off, you know, and you get that little moon key out, here's a cool little trick. I know the moon key is very small. It's just this little crescent shaped key right here. What I like to do with it so I don't lose it is I put it right on the magnet of the flywheel, you know, and then you don't lose it. And then you set the flywheel off somewhere to the side until you're ready to use it again. Also, I've heard of people taking these out. Oh, you don't need these. No, these are actually, everything on the saw has a purpose, folks, and you're going to get the best results. It's going to run the best if you have everything on it that's supposed to be. So this one's in good shape, as you can see. All we're going to do right now is we're going to clean some of this dirt out of the spring, and I'm going to oil it up, and then I'm going to put the spool back in it and see if it retracts a little better. But I was prepared for, you know, I was prepared for the worst, you know, just in case if the whole thing needed to be replaced. I have another one that I put together that's got a brand new rope in it and everything, new bearings. So I guess I'll have this for another saw that needs it, if this, you know, just needs to be cleaned. But it looks good, man. I mean, both of the discs are intact and not cracked, you know, which is a good sign. So I think it should do with just a little cleaning and some oil. That may help it. So we're going to get our little cleaning brushes that I have and some cleaner. Some carb cleaner. First things first, we're going to get in there with the little brush, you know, and also, folks, make sure you don't knock the spring off of that little notch right there, because then the spring will unwind, and just because it's inside of the housing still without being latched on here, you think, oh well, it'll still retract. Maybe one or two times, but then after a while it's not going to work anymore, and you're going to have to reattach the spring completely. So let's get some of this dirt out of here with this brush. Blow that out. Now we're going to take some carb cleaner, spray the spring out, get all that dirt and junk off of it, just like that. Let that dry for a sec. We can expedite the process with some paper towel, napkin, whatever you got. You know, wipe that dirt, get all that off. Want that spring nice and clean, guys. You don't want no gunk down in there. So yeah, yesterday I noticed after I'd gotten it running, the only thing that was wrong with it was just that the recoil was slow to retract, and this is usually what it is, you know. So now that that's cleaned out, all the dirt's off of the sides and everything, we're going to take some good old WD-40 and we're going to spray that in here. Spray that in the spring. Get that nice and oiled up. Then we're going to get our spool. Make sure there's no dirt caked on the back of this. You want this nice and clean. Spray this. Wipe it off. Just like that. Okay. See that 1-bolt muffler? It makes the saw kind of wobble a little bit. That's okay. All right. So now, y'all know how to do this. This part here grabs the little nub of the spring, the end of the spring, and that's how you get your recoil. We are going to wind it up just a little bit. You're going to wind it clockwise from the bottom, you guys. I know sometimes when I'm rushing, I'm like, oh, I got to do it twice because I'm going too fast for myself and screwing it up. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Super important. I'm so sorry. The disc. This is important. Let's clean this off and oil that as well. Spray that. Wipe it off. We want all that dirt off of it. The dirt off. Okay, then we are going to hit it with a little, little WD-40, just a little because there's already some on the spring. Put that in there, a little more WD-40. This is the way I do it, guys, okay? Everybody may have their own way, but I've rebuilt and restored a lot of saws, and I've never had a problem doing it like this. Now, don't worry about the slack. I'll show you how to get rid of the slack too. Now we're going to rest it down inside of here. And we're going to turn it counterclockwise until it falls in. Sometimes it takes a little adjusting and playing around to get it to drop in. Because the spring will, like, see, you want it to fall inside of the housing like that. Alright, pull the slack out of the rope. Let's see if it's retracting now. There you go. It's retracting. Now I'm going to show y'all how to get the slack out. What you're going to want to do, put your rope like this, okay? And then you're going to grab some of it. You see this little notch on your spool? You're going to get that right there in the notch. Pull some slack up. Wrap it counterclockwise a few times. Just like this. Sometimes the rope will twist up a little bit. Just, you know, you got to kind of muscle it and force it. Especially if you are using the original rope, like I assume this is. You know, wrap it around a couple good times, you know, maybe 3-4 times, depending on how much slack you have, because you'll start to feel the tension on the spring. Then you see what I mean there? Get this up to right here, and then pull the slack out. See, like I said, you gotta muscle it a little bit. Alright, then let it go. And boom. There's our recoil back on. And it's nice and snappy too. That's what you want. You want it to be nice and snappy. Wow. Okay. Now, excuse me. Now we are going to replace the plate that covers the recoil. Alright, let's make sure we're putting it on the correct way. Nope, that is not the correct way. This is just like that. Okay, and then we've got 3 small screws. Just flathead screws. And you want to make sure these plates are not bent, guys, because a lot of times what will happen is when the plate is bent, it'll put a lot of pressure down on that spool and stop it from moving, you know, which is also another reason why I put a lot of lubrication in there, you know, just in case. Like I have had a few of these things where these tiny screws were torqued in there so much and stripped that I couldn't take them out, you know. So you just want them tight enough. Don't over torque them. But anyway, I've had them where they were so torqued in there and stripped out that I actually could only get like 2 out, and then I'd have to bend it just to get to the spool in there and spring. So just get it tight enough to where if you have to go back in there later, you can just do it with a regular old screwdriver. You don't need a drill. Alright, so now that that's back on, now we're going to go on over here to our flywheel. We're going to get our moon key off. Put the moon key back into the crankshaft. Okay, which is right here at the top. Put it back in the hole. Okay. I like to give it just a little tap. Just tap it in there just a little bit. Just make sure it's in there nice. Okay, now that's how we're going to get it back on. As you can see, the flywheel has a little notch for the moon key. Pull a little bit of slack out on your rope like this. Line that little notch on the flywheel up with the moon key, which in my case is going to be about right here. Let it kind of fall on it. Put a little bit of pressure, let it go. And should be back on there now. Let's make sure it's on there level. Check the bottom. I don't think mine's on as much as I'd like it to be. I mean, it is on. But could be better. Let me see. Well, I guess it is. It's on. As long as the starter pawls are engaged, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're good to go. Now, you want to do your washer first. Lock washer. Then your nut. Okay. We'll start with it being finger tight. And then I'll give it just a good little This doesn't have to be ridiculously tight, guys. I know people do that shit and then you can't get it off later when your rope breaks and you're like, what the hell? So there you have it. That's back on. Let's see how she retracts. That's more like it. See, as where before it was taking forever to go back in. Now, that's what you want. So, I would call that fixed, y'all. Like I said, it wasn't really bad. It was just like, I'd pull it out, and then it would go like this. There we go. Real slow, and then it would stop, and then I'd have to stick a flat head inside the fan cover and move this so it would pull it the rest of the way. But I'll call that fixed. And then the rest of the way is just, you know, putting your cover back on, your handlebar, and